If you train with barbells or machines or even weighted calisthenics, progression is simple. You just add more and more weight on every single session. But unfortunately, with bodyweight exercises, it is not that simple. And often it can be quite a challenge to find a good progression that won't be too difficult and too easy for your current strength level. So in this video I want to tell you a few great methods how you can choose the right progression for you and even create your own progression that will be specifically designed for your level of strength. I hope I'm not very sweaty right now because I'm in the middle of my leg workout. Currently I'm doing really high volumes to get my tendons and ligaments really stronger, so yeah, it can be quite exhausting, but you know, no excuses, David Goggins style, you have to work, so yeah. So there are a few very basic progressions that pretty much everyone knows. For example, tuck front lever pull-ups to advanced tuck front lever pull-ups to straddle front lever pull-ups or one leg or half straddle. You know, there are these progressions that are very popular, but oftentimes people can find that they are really strong in their current progression, but they are not strong enough for the next progression. And this can be really a big problem, because in order to do a good training session, you have to get some volume with your exercises. So what are we supposed to do in such situations? The first solution is basically to make your current progression extra difficult and extra hard. So you can basically get extra strong so that the next progression will be easy. Not easy, but doable for you. You can do that by adding additional load or elongating the eccentrics or isometric portions of the movement. And the second solution is making the next progression extra easy, for example by using assistance or momentum. And this way you can already start progressing with that next progression and get stronger with that to eventually transition to a proper progression, you know. I've made a whole video talking exactly about these two methods. So if you're interested in that, go watch that video, it should be right here. But in this video I want to talk about the first solution, which is creating a whole another progression that will be specifically designed for your current strength level. However, this requires some systematic thinking from you. I will tell you what I mean. You can't just come up with a random progression that you feel like is more difficult than the previous one. Creating your own progression requires 1. Measurability, 2. Consistency, and 3. Similar movement pattern. I will explain to you each one of these in a minute. Let's stick to our tuck planche push-up example. So you want to create a progression that will be more difficult than tuck planche push-ups, but less difficult than advanced tuck planche push-ups. So let's start by realizing what is the difference between advanced tuck planche push-ups and tuck planche push-ups. Obviously it is the lever that you create with your arms. In advanced tuck planche push-ups you're basically leaning more forward because your body is more stretched, it is longer basically. And you control that length of your body, that leverage, by adjusting the angle between your quads and your torso. So with tuck planche push-ups your angle is something around like 30 degrees maybe, and with advanced tuck planche push-up your angle should be somewhere around 90 degrees. So you could make a new progression by creating an angle that is in between these two, so for example like 45 degrees. And this progression, you could call it like half advanced tuck planche push-ups, I guess, will be more difficult than the tuck planche push-up because the angle is greater, your body is longer and the leverage is greater, but it will be easier than advanced tuck planche push-up position because the leverages and all that is not that big. And remember our 3 rules: measurability, consistency, and similar pattern of movement. So 1, measurability. Is this new progression measurable? Well, I think it is, because you can feel with pretty good accuracy what is the angle in between your quad and torso. And if you can't, within the first few sessions you can basically record yourself while doing the exercise and check what was that angle. Second one, consistency. Can you repeat that same position on each training session? I think you can, because it's not that hard to remember how you felt during that exercise while holding that 45-degree angle, you know? And is it a similar movement pattern to an advanced tuck planche push-up? Absolutely. It just has a little less amount of leverage. Okay, I gotta do the set, sorry. Alright. In case you're wondering, right now I'm doing 3 sets of 15 ATG squats with a backpack with 15 kgs. It is really an amazing exercise. A full range of motion feels great. I really recommend you to get into knees over toes guy, Ben Patrick, if you want to level up your game with legs and squats and basically healthy lower body. He's the guy. I don't have an affiliate link or anything. I wish I had, honestly. But yeah, let's go back to the video. So you could do exactly the same thing with, for example, one arm pull-up. Let's say you're really good at archer pull-ups, but you're not able to do negative one arm pull-ups, which is the next progression. So using our first solution, making the current exercise harder, you could, for example, make archer pull-ups harder by only holding the bar with like 2 or 3 fingers on the other side, you know? Is it measurable? Yes. Is it consistent? Absolutely. And is it similar to the one arm pull-up movement? It is, because you're putting more and more weight on your one arm. And using the second solution, you could make the next progression easier. For example, by doing resistance band, one arm negative pull-ups. Measurable, consistent, similar? Yes, yes, and yes. I think you get the idea. So as you can see, a process of creating your very own progressions is a bit complicated sometimes. That's why usually it is the best to just stick to the first and second solution by making known progressions harder or easier. But there will be times in your calisthenics journey where that just won't be possible. So this is where this method of creating your own progression comes into place. So my goal for this video was to give you an idea of what you have to consider while creating your own progressions. And as you can see, while following a few very simple rules, you can basically create any progression. You can create any bridge between 2 different progressions. And it is the ability that will be really fucking useful in your training journey. You will see that. Okay, so in the end, I also want to show you a progression where one aspect or a few aspects doesn't really agree with our rules, so that it's not all sunshine and rainbow, you know. So let's say you generally want to get stronger in horizontal pushing, but you're already really strong in normal, regular push-ups. So you start doing pseudo planche push-ups. You start basically leaning forward and doing that movement. Will it make you a stronger pusher? It definitely will. However, it is not measurable, nor it is consistent. Because on every single training session, you're gonna be leaning a different amount forward. For example, one day you will lean like 20 centimeters, you will do 5 reps and it will be really fucking difficult. And then on the next training session, you will lean like 23 centimeters, also do 5 reps, and it will also be really fucking difficult. And you might think that you're not making any progress because it is not getting easier, you know? So you could fix that mistake by doing one simple thing, and it is basically to measure your lean. So how you can do that? You don't need any fancy equipment to do that. You can just use your palms and your fingers. Yo, it's me from the future. Oh shit, the camera is too low. I have to like squat, but not fully squat. I was just about to tell you that the very good way to measure progress with pseudo planche push-ups is to measure the distance from the wall and then keep your head touching the wall and basically going up and down. But I just learned right now that it's actually not a good way, because when you do pseudo planche push-ups, you naturally go a bit forward and backwards with your head while doing them. And it's completely natural, you should be doing that. That is why the method with wall is not really that great. And a better method is to just measure the distance from your feet to your palms on the floor. And you can do that by measuring it with a meter, you know, that stretchy thing. You could also measure it in some other way. For example, you could lie down and basically see where your palms are on the floor compared to your body. Or you could also just mark proper points on your floor. For example, I have these wooden planks on my floor. They look like that. And I can basically measure how many of these cracks are there, you know? And that's a pretty good way also. And right now it is measurable because you know exactly how much you're doing, how much work you're doing, how difficult is the work you're doing. And it is also consistent because on every single training session you can basically copy that same distance and do another set of that same exact exercise. And then obviously you can progress by increasing that distance from the wall. I hope you found this video valuable. I hope you understood anything. And peace out. See you in the next video.